point about it. Suffice it to say, we worked very hard to achieve a balanced budget in very tough times. We've been very supportive of the governor's, what we call Plan A, the preferred way to bridge this deficit, which would rely on an extension of existing revenues. Unfortunately, the governor has not been able to find those Republican votes to put this choice to the voters of California and to allow us to advocate the importance of what a budget looks like by extending these revenues versus what it looks like without. That, I think voters should have that right in California. Because we haven't gotten that support, we have had to look at a Plan B. And that Plan B also has to deliver a balanced budget. And many have said, well, Plan B is going to be all cuts. And what we endeavored to do over these last 6 months and very intensively in the last 3 months is to get there without all cuts. And so we've incorporated some things we can do with majority vote to extend some fees. We've tried to prioritize where we've had to make additional cuts. Unfortunately, there's no good choices. They're bad and worse. But we've tried to, with a majority vote, prioritize public education. We've been able to sustain K through 12 at the same funding level as this year. But in this last week, we had to back out some of the money we were going to put into Prop 98 backfill to repay the schools some of what we owe them. Further cuts in higher education, the courts, the list goes on and on. Health and Human Services cuts have been particularly tough ones to make. But our appeal, and I believe the governor's continued philosophy, is to find a mix of very tough cuts with revenues and prudent borrowing. Right now that revenue part is off the table. So what we passed on Wednesday, they were very tough votes, but they achieved a balanced budget. And I have to say we were very shocked by the governor's veto on Thursday morning. We've been working with him and his staff. We've been working with the finance department. This isn't something we concocted overnight, and he was caught by surprise. We were indeed caught by surprise, but I think what's reinforced for me, what is it, you go through denial and then anger and then mourning. I think I'm in mourning today, but looking forward, we're going to be meeting with the governor on Monday and trying to respect his leadership and what he's trying to do at the level of governor. I think we're going to hear him out on Monday. I think he's still very committed to finding the votes that will let us go to a ballot and advocate for an extension of revenues. And I think that's what really underlines the veto, and I think that's the positive way to look at the veto, that he hasn't given up on a solution that will include an extension of revenues. I think it's going to be a very heavy lift, and we'll keep you posted as we move forward. I'll just close by thanking all of you who have weighed in. I know many of you have come to Sacramento to advocate and to testify on these budget hearings. I sit on the Health and Human Services Subcommittee, and we've taken very compelling testimony from in-home support services folks, disability community, adult health daycare community. And one of the features of our budget was to try to reduce some of the governor's earlier proposed cuts to restore some funding to adult health daycare so that we don't totally collapse programs that are vital to our community health and I think to our community's morality. So I will stop there, and now I'm going to redirect our focus to the arts.